you start?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yay. Oh my gosh. You guys, you have made it to, what is this, 6th week or the 4th week or some 6th week, right? You've made it to the very last call before National Conference. There is one more call. So you have to come back after National Conference for our wrap up. And you know what? The timing couldn't have been better for the topic of this call and all of the fun, exciting news that your executives know is going to be coming to you at National Conference. You are going to be so excited to implement and get started with recruiting. And this just happens to be my favorite topic to share on. So what you might find most ironic is that when I joined Pampered Chef, I actually told my recruiter, she came over to my house, sat down at the kitchen table with me, my first new consultant onboarding chat with her, and I told my recruiter I did not want to recruit anyone. I wanted nothing to do with it. So how does someone like that go from not wanting to recruit anyone to being in the top 5 in recruiting in the company and a 2-time Circle of Honor achiever? That's what I'm going to share with you tonight. And honestly, it can be summed up in one simple sentence. Are you ready? This is what you want to write down. This is going to be your takeaway tonight, or hopefully one of many, but definitely write this down. The only thing that separates the top recruiters in the company from everyone else is the number of people that they ask. That's it. And I hope you find that exciting and inspiring, because that means any one of you can be a top recruiter in the company. So let's just take a couple of seconds and reflect. That means you're going to think in your own head for a minute and ask yourself these questions. How many people are you asking to join your team on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis? And just be honest with yourself, because you don't have to say it out loud. What's keeping you from asking more people? Is it fear? Is it that you don't know who to ask? Is that you don't know what to ask, what to say to ask? Is that you ask once and then forget to ask again and follow up? Is it that you're afraid that they'll say yes and then you won't know what to do next? And is it that you don't believe the Pampered Chef business opportunity is worth sharing? So let's start with, is the opportunity worth sharing? What is your level of passion for Pampered Chef? How you feel about your Pampered Chef business and the impact it has had on your life, and your belief in what it can have on your life and the lives of others will have a direct impact on not only how many people you ask, but how excited you are when you ask them. Hands down, the passion I have for my business has impacted my recruiting, and it has from the very beginning. So let me share with you a little bit about how Pampered Chef changed my life. So growing up, our family didn't have much. We actually lived well below the poverty level. We were a welfare family that received a lot of assistance from the government and from friends and from family. Programs like WIC, food stamps, free breakfast and free lunch at school, and food distribution lines were how we survived. My mom couldn't afford to buy toilet paper, so she would send me into McDonald's to get napkins. My husband and I married young, very young. I was 19 and he was 20, and we had our first child when I was 21, and I was a stay-at-home mom. Now, although we could afford to buy toilet paper, we also struggled financially a lot. My older children can remember me taking them to Chuck E. Cheese before they had, all the electronic games that they have there now. And I would let them play in the ball pits and crawl through the tunnels. And I couldn't afford to buy the pizza So I would pack peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Am I frozen? Because it looks like several of you are frozen. Am I good? Somebody nod their head. Oh no.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Okay, good. I was nervous. So again, I would pack peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and we would sit there and eat them while people all around us were eating pizza. We only had one vehicle. I didn't have a cell phone when almost everybody in the world had a cell phone. We didn't have a computer, let alone dial-up internet like AOL, when that was a household name, and we ate a whole lot of Hamburger Helper. We didn't vacation, we didn't have a savings account, and the idea of a retirement account was something we only dreamed we might one day have. One thing we did have, though, was a whole lot of debt. And maybe some of you are living like that right now. You're struggling to make ends meet. Maybe you're wondering how you're going to put gas in your car, or you're praying that your power isn't shut off this month. Hear me loud and clear. Your life can look completely different in just a few weeks or months, depending on your commitment and passion. In less than 4 months of starting my Pampered Chef business, I paid off more than $5,000 of credit card debt. Now you can believe that sparked some passion in me for sure. And I have passion today still because we've stayed debt-free since then, almost 14 years later. I've paid cash for braces, private school, college, remodeling projects, missions trips, weddings, and even the adoption of our 5th child. I have passion today because I've been able to be a stay-at-home mom through this entire journey. I have passion because if I ever want to go to Chuck E. Cheese again, I could and buy pizza. But why would I want to do that when I could take my family to Disney World for free? I have passion because some of my very best friends in the world I've met through Pampered Chef. This business changed my life, and I have seen it change the lives of so many others, and it can change yours. And when you believe that, you can't not offer it to everyone, every opportunity you get. You'll start to see it as selfish not to share it. Recruiting won't be just about building a team alone. It will be about empowering others to own their own tomorrow. Your fear of asking will disappear because you know you have a gift to give. And when they say yes, you'll reach out to your director and say, I have someone that wants to join my team, and they'll guide you with what to do next. So don't let that fear be an excuse for owning your own tomorrow and helping someone else to own theirs. Pampered Chef is one of the few places in this world that it doesn't matter what size you are, how you're shaped, what color you are, how young or how old you are, whether you're male or female, where you grew up, if you're a great cook or can only burn water, if you enjoy talking in front of people, or if you would rather type on a phone or computer. You can be successful and make your life better. Can I get an amen from anybody out there? Wave some hands. Show me that you're still with me. All right, good. So before I share some of the action steps you can take to increase your recruiting, I want you to hear from a leader on my team and how Pampered Chef has changed her life as well. I'm so excited for you to hear from Senior Director Shaughnessy Owens.
Hey guys.
There you go.
Oh, hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, awesome. So I'm Shaughnessy Owens, and I'm a senior director. Like Stacy said, I've been with the company for 8 years now. Stacy asked me, and I am so glad she did, because this business has been life-changing for me and my family. When I started this business 8 years ago, I had 2 children under the age of 3. And now we have 4 under the age of 11. And my husband's active duty and was deploying all the time when we started. And I needed something that was flexible and that allowed us to pay for preschool that just wasn't in our budget. We were trying to pay off debt doing Dave Ramsey, and we weren't looking to add anything to our plates. So when Stacy asked, I said, why not? I had hosted parties before. I loved the product, and thought that I would pay tuition and then quit because I wasn't going to love it. And I found that I found a business that I absolutely love, and have been able to move with us with the military over the last 8 years. Most recently, we moved, when did we move? Almost 2 years ago to California. And when we moved, I was mainly a cooking show consultant and an advanced director, and knew that I needed to become virtual to keep my business going. So when we moved, we took a deep leap of faith, and we signed our kids up for private school, which was definitely out of our budget. 4 children in private school is not a cheap thing. But I knew that my business could provide what we needed. And so at the beginning of this year, I focused hard on recruiting and on my personal sales. And I started sharing the business. So in January, my calendar started with 4 shows, 2 cooking and 2 virtual. My 2 cooking shows at the end of the month canceled, and I was left with 2 virtual parties. And I just adopted a new host coaching system and focused in on those, and was adamant and focused on asking everybody about hosting and about the business. And with those first 2 shows in January, I had $500 in sales from one, and the other was $738 with 5 bookings. And from those 5 bookings, I was asking everybody about the business. And Angie was one of them in February who said yes. And we promoted her to a fast track director in May. And one of the ladies on her team is actually that host that I met her at in January. And with those first 4 bookings, my January closed at over $6,000 in 1 month. And I had a couple new consultants. Since then, I focused hard on asking everybody to host and about the business. Angie promoted, as well as in May, I promoted another fast track director, and in June, a 3rd fast track director. So 3 fast track directors in 2 months. I knew that as I was holding parties and promoting directors, I still needed to be actively recruiting to replace the teams I was promoting and to grow my personal team. 2 days after returning from Scottsdale, I met my next recruit, and as soon as I saw her, I said she was going to be another fast track director. So worked hard with her, and she fast tracked in 33 days. But one of the biggest changes in my recruiting has been to ask. I ask everyone. In my virtual parties, I keep my eye on rock star guests, people that are actively participating in my parties and who are commenting, especially on the business posts. Even if it's just a little comment, I message them and say, hey, thanks for commenting. Were you just interested in extra raffle tickets, or are you curious about more? Laugh out loud. And when they reply back and they say they're curious about more, I share more. And I offer to run a go show for them so that they can get their first parties off and going right away. I also hold opportunity events so that I have a place to put more people into that are curious, so that they can answer any questions when they're not ready to say yes quite yet. But what changed for me is the belief in recruiting, to believe that I have the best opportunity for them, and to take the focus off of myself. My job is simply to offer the business and to let them know how this business can change their lives. I no longer fear rejection or the no thank you, because they're not saying no to me, they're saying no to the opportunity. And how has recruiting impacted my business? With those 3 fast track directors and over $30,000 in sales, which I beat my sales of last year in 5 months, just because I was asking everybody. And we have one of the best rewards from my recruiting this year has been seeing my new consultants reach their financial goals for joining Pampered Chef. There's nothing more rewarding for me when someone tells me, I'm so glad you asked because this business has changed my life. I'm now able to pay my rent or save for a down payment on a home or whatever goal they started or they had when they started and they have achieved. This business is life changing. And not only are the lives of my new team members being changed, but also my family's life is being changed. My income will more than double this year, which is life-changing. It makes a difference from just covering our normal expenses to having extra at the end of the month. And I know that this business can change anybody's life, so don't be afraid to ask.
Amen. Thank you, Shaughnessy. So anyone that knows me well knows that I love a good system to follow. Would y'all like a system for recruiting tonight? Yeah? Good. Okay, so I'm going to give you my system. I create systems for everything because it helps keep me organized. Oh, good. I see the chat blowing up. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I'm going to share with you a 4-step system for recruiting. It's called IITF. IITF, inform, invite, track, follow up. Okay, so let's start with inform first. If I sent you a Facebook message or a text message and asked you, would you like some? You'd probably text or message back some of what? Right? Because you would have no idea what I was talking about. So before we ask people if they want to join our team, we have to share first why they might want to try it. What are the benefits? It's our job to first create a desire and then ask. That's informing. If I sent you a text message that said, I'm sitting over here with a fresh out of the oven molten chocolate lava cake that's covered in juicy red strawberries and vanilla flavored whipped cream. I thought of you and how much you love chocolate and was wondering if you would like me to bring you over a piece. You could probably picture in your mind exactly what I'm offering and probably know right away if you want some, right? You would know if you'd want it. Yeah, give me some head nods. Okay, now, even if you want it, you might start talking to yourself and talk yourself out of it, thinking of all of the calories and how much harder you're gonna have to work out the next day. But either way, you have a very clear picture of what's being offered to you. So my question to you is, how are you informing your guests in your virtual and in-person parties what you have to offer before you even ask? Are you doing that? So let me share some of the ways that I do that and that you can do this. First, share your story. Everyone has a story. Even if you've only been a consultant for 72 hours, you have a story. Talk to your director and let them help you develop that story. What was your life like before joining Pampered Chef? What were you looking for from the business? What fear did you have about joining and how did you overcome it? How is your life better because you joined? And what goal are you working on achieving next? So first, share your story. Second, show the money. No matter the size of your commission check, be proud of the income that you are earning. $100 a month can mean the difference. Let me clarify, $100 extra a month to a family can mean the difference between toilet paper and napkins from McDonald's. Did you know that 756,722 Americans filed for bankruptcy in 2018? Did you know that 58% of Americans have less than $1,000 in a savings account? Did you know that the Americans' average personal debt, not including mortgages, is over $38,000 per person? Even an extra $100 a month can mean the difference between toilet paper and napkins. Be proud of what you are earning in your business. Now, if you want to create a wow factor and you're a brand new consultant, show off your director's check in your parties. It's okay to do that too, and show the potential of what this business has to offer. The third thing you want to do is spread the word on the perks. Not everyone is going to join your team for the extra money. We get products, we can earn trips, we have friendships. Those are just some of the other reasons that people decide to try Pampered Chef. How about feeling valued and appreciated? One of the top leaders in this company joined Pampered Chef because they wanted something to be passionate about. They were making plenty of money. They just needed something to be passionate about. And because they have since felt valued and appreciated, they have soared to the top. I'm sure many of you would agree one of the best benefits of being a consultant is being part of a team and a company that values us. Our CEO, Tracy Britt Cole, talks about how the field is the most valuable asset they have. Our Chief Experience Officer, Shiv Dutt, recently told me that top sales company in the US are jealous to have the sales force that Pampered Chef has. So home office knows our value and works to show appreciation for us every day. I read in a recent Forbes article, global studies reveal that 79% of people who quit their jobs cite lack of appreciation as their reason for leaving. So don't underestimate for a minute that people might join your team just for that appreciation. So be sure you're talking about how you feel valued and appreciated being a part of the Pampered Chef. So far we have share your story, show the money, spread the word on perks, and then next set up the Q&A. This is another process of informing. Now, you might not think that encouraging other people to ask questions is a way to inform, but it absolutely is. And every party that you do, either live or in person, be sure to include an Ask Me Anything segment. This is the very best way to show the money and spread the word on perks without standing up there giving a 30-minute sermon or doing a 15-minute video. When they ask you questions, you can then answer and then weave in the benefits you want to make sure get out there. Now, if you're not sure how to incorporate this into your parties, again, reach out to your director for help. They can teach you how to get people to ask questions, and specifically the questions you want to answer. So that was inform. The next step in our system is invite. When you are passionate about the benefits of being a Pampered Chef consultant and have a strong belief that it changes lives, you will be informing, or better yet, bragging about our amazing company. And your friends and family and customers will want what you have, and you will have no choice but to invite or ask everyone if they want to take advantage of this opportunity. Now, here's something else I want you to write down or type it on your computer or your phone or wherever you're taking notes. Are you ready? Everyone deserves the opportunity to decide for themselves if they want to try Pampered Chef. Everyone deserves the opportunity to decide for themselves if they want to try Pampered Chef. It is not my or your decision to make for them. And when you don't ask them, you are making that decision for them. If I don't ask someone, I'm making that decision for them. Not asking is selfish, not asking is prideful. And I say prideful because we care more about hearing no and getting our feelings hurt than we care about helping someone else. So who are you going to ask? Well, the obvious answer is we should ask everyone, but let me help make that a little bit more specific for you. In every party, there are 4 specific recruit leads I'm looking for. There are 4 specific people you should be looking for. are you going to be the recruiter and look for them? So the first one is your host. Now, I know the teams that you all are a part of. I know all of these executives that I'm working with very, very well. And I know that we all teach to ask your host at least 5 times to try the Pampered Chef. Then you heard Shaughnessy talk about the rockstar guest. She's looking for that person that is acting like the consultant in the party and reaching out to them and asking them. Now the curious guest. The curious guest is the one that's asking a lot of questions during your Q&A. He or she may comment on your commission checks when you show them. At an in-person party, they're hanging around afterwards while you're cleaning up, you know, asking a couple little questions here and there, not trying to be obvious, but they're curious. And then the fourth one. This is the secret guest. The secret guest is created by the curious guest. They don't ask any questions during the party. They are completely silent. If it's an online party, they join the party, but they are not commenting on anything. They're hiding out, but they are watching everything that you are doing. They're watching all of the comments. And the place that you find that secret guest is during your checkout chats. So the third part and critical part of the inviting is tracking. You heard me say you missed one of the guests, Katrina. That's okay. You can go back and find them by doing checkout chats or making sure their products have arrived and everything's okay. So I'm going to tracking. I said at the top of this, the thing that separates the top recruiters from everybody else is that they ask more people. So are you really asking enough people, and can you prove it? Roy Vaden, one of my favorite authors, says, whatever your problems are, they are not your problems. You are your problem. But don't worry, you are also your solution. And he says, self-discipline, he says this about self-discipline. Success is never owned, success is only rented, and the rent is due every day. Developing good business skills, habits is an example of paying rent. Tracking, if you're not doing it, if you're not getting the results you want with recruiting, and that's your problem might be you and your tracking and asking and being able to prove that you're asking enough people. And the self-discipline to do it every day will bring you the success. I'm going to show you 2 tracking sheets, and I'll make sure your executives have these so that they can share them with you that I use. This is the one that I use for my parties. The host, the date, making sure I ask my host 5 times, who my rock star guest is, who my curious guest is, and then I'm looking for at least 3 secret guests. This is just holding me accountable to do my checkout chats. Pretty simple, nothing fancy to that. Now, my goal every single month is to have at least 20, and you heard me right, 20 recruiting conversations. A conversation is much different than an ask. I ask everybody, but not everybody wants to talk to me about it. So I know that if I can have 20 recruiting conversations, I can recruit anywhere from 2, 4, 6 people a month. Here's my stack of trackers for this year. I fell a little short in February for sure, but I still recruited 5 people. Here's March. Look at all of those conversations. And I think I maybe had 19 recruits in March. I can show you every single month. And every single month has at least 2 new consultants that join my team. But it's because I developed the self-discipline to track my conversations, and I'm making sure I'm asking enough people. All right, so we have inform, we have invite, we have track, And now we have the last one, follow up. Yes, Kelly, I will share those with all the executives and they'll get them to you. So this is a phrase I heard a long time ago when I first started Pampered Chef, and you may have heard it before. It's been around for a long time. I certainly didn't coin it, but it's a cliche, but cliches become cliches for a reason because they're true. And this is what's said about follow-up. Fortune is in the follow-up. The purpose of your tracker isn't just to make sure you're asking enough people. It's also to make sure you remember who you're supposed to come back to and ask again. Some people will sign on the spot. Some people will think about it for a few days. More people will need to be asked over and over and over again. Many of the leaders, many of the directors, advanced directors, senior directors, executive directors on my team said no before they said yes. I said no for 9 years before I said yes. Raise your hand if you said no to the business before you said yes. Look at that. Aren't you glad somebody asked you more than once? I wasn't even actually being asked when I joined Pampered Chef. I was laying in bed, wide awake in the middle of the night, stressed about how we were going to pay off our debt. And the words of my consultant from when she had asked me previously rang loud and clear in my head. She said, "You would be so good at this." So I got up in the middle of the night and I emailed her. And then, like I shared earlier, when she was doing my new consultant training, I told her I didn't want to recruit. But the truth is, I was afraid. I was afraid to recruit. I was afraid to say I wanted to recruit because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to recruit. And now I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid because I see this as a gift. It's not about recruiting, it's about offering something amazing. I see this as a gift to myself because I don't know. I see this as a gift that I can give to others because I don't know who is out there laying awake, wide awake in bed at night, like I was doing almost 14 years ago, wishing and praying that things would be different. Now, sharing this business is an investment of time. It's an investment in another person. But I am here to tell you that that investment is priceless. If I think about it, there are 6 executives working together for this Have It All series, 6 of us. But between the 6 of us, there are thousands of consultants represented. There's probably 100 of you on this call tonight, and you are all here because each of us wasn't afraid to ask. I can promise you, you will never be sorry that you asked someone, but you will regret not giving them that opportunity. So, I'm here for a few more minutes. If anybody has questions, comments, feedback, anybody want to share anything, you have to unmute yourself. You can ask Shaughnessy a question as well if you need to. We're good? Let me check the chat, make sure. All right. Miss Donna, are you still there? Oh, you're welcome, Christy. Oh, Jessica, do you have a question?
Well, I was waiting because it's not as much about the recruiting aspect, but you mentioned your checkout conversation. Can you tell me what that looks like on a digital party? I think I'm pretty good with it in person, but tell me what that looks like. And let me mute myself.
So, yeah. So at an online party, if they aren't my Rockstar guest or my curious guest, and I'm just doing a checkout chat, like a normal checkout chat they placed an order, I am almost always going for the booking first. I feel like, I'll tell you, the opposite is true for me at an in-person party. At an in-person party, I always offer the opportunity first, because I've never had someone say to me, if I ask them if they want to host a show, no, but I want to be a consultant. Like, that just doesn't happen, right? But at an in-person party, if they haven't expressed any interest in the business, and like I said, I haven't identified them as the rock star or curious guest, I'm trying to secure that booking first, and then my goal is to flip that booking to the business. So if I get the booking, I'm pretty much flat out and say, hey, this might be the farthest thing from your mind, but have you ever considered doing something like this to earn some extra money? And it's just a simple ask like that. Okay, good. She gave me a thumbs up. She's clear. Anybody else have questions? I saw someone say they suck at follow-up. Well, you know what? You can decide today that you're not going to suck anymore, that you're going to be amazing at follow-up, because you're going to have a tracker that you can use, and you know that it's worth it. And you saw how many hands went up that we were asked multiple times. It's worth it.
Sorry.
That's okay. Did you have a question?
I don't really have a question. I just wanted to say, you know, a lot of people are afraid to ask. They're afraid of what somebody's going to say. And like I've told you before, the worst somebody can do is say no. They can't eat you.
That's true. They cannot eat us. That is absolutely true. And you know, the more you hear no, the less hurtful it is at first. And like I said, if we don't ask because we're afraid to hear that no, we are really being prideful. We're caring more about our own feelings and how we feel than for that other person. I am with another direct sales company in the Oh my gosh, Susan, that's awesome. Susan said that she is floored by how well Pampered Chef treats their consultants. Let me just tell you, just wait till after next week when all the announcements come out after National Conference. You're not even gonna be able to stand. You're gonna think you're drunk and you're not. It's like gonna be so amazing. Awesome, awesome stuff is coming. So listen, if you want to watch this recording back, we will have it to you. Donna is amazing at getting it to us very, very quickly. And I would tell you, I know that all of the series has been recorded. So if you missed any of them, go back and watch them. You guys are so spoiled. You probably have no idea how spoiled you are, but you are getting to hear from amazing men and women. These are people that I look up to and am privileged to be working with, and I would have killed as a brand new consultant. Well, probably not killed, but I would have done anything in my power to sit under any one of these ladies and our one-man Steve and learn from them. So if you missed any of the series, go back and watch it. There has been such amazing information shared throughout this whole 6 weeks. And come back after conference, because we are going to be so excited to talk with you about what you hear there.
Yes, I think we have that scheduled for Monday, August 5th at 9
Yes.
p.m.
Awesome.
So be here then, everyone.
All right. For those of you going to conference, make sure you go and say hi to the executives and let us all know that you're part of our Have It All this summer. Okay? Bye.
Bye.